Pode começar.
Boa. Hello and welcome to our first RankMyAPP webinar. We truly believe that communication and transparency are the keys for the greatest partnership. Today, our topic is how iOS 14.5 is affecting you. After many studies, RankMyAPP, would you like to present to partners what has been learned so far about this and what solutions we have found. So, we truly hope you enjoy this time with us. To help us with this matter, I welcome our speaker today, Carol Matos. She is our data analyst. Carol Matos, she's our data analyst, and she will explain better this. Welcome.
Thank you, Bruna, for the intro. We are glad to have this presentation to share with you some information that can still be a little confusing for some of us, right? So for those who don't know me, like Bruna said, I am Carol Matos. I'm data analyst here at RankMyAPP. And I will be sharing some information with you today regarding the changes of the market with the iOS 14. Recently, we had this big change in the mobile market. So with the new iOS 14.5 version, which brought more transparency for the user itself and came along with some restrictions for the marketers, such as the end of the IDFA, our main identification to attribute the iOS campaigns, that is affecting our campaigns and yours as well, I suppose. So this webinar is for us to explain to you what changed for us and explore some solutions of the market for this specific matter. So just for us to introduce the subject, it is important for us to understand what exactly changed for the users who updated their device to the iOS 14.5. This new OS version was released on April 26, after almost a year since Apple started to talk about its new terms of privacy. And the iOS 14.5 brought some usual operational updates for the user, but also new rules and more access to choose from what kind of data they wanted to share to each partner, to each advertiser. First, they have released the app privacy section on App Store, like you see here. So the users can be aware of what kind of data is being tracked and how it is used from the apps. But however, the main update for the user and for us is the new app tracking transparency, the ATT. The ATT allows, it is a new feature that allows the user to share their data with the app they are using. After the iOS 14, the user could enable or disable for all apps, but now they are able to choose specifically view and change the permissions for each app specifically. Also, all iOS apps have to release a new pop-up that you see on the third screen here. When the user installs the app, so they have to authorize the tracking or allow or not allow. And we can see on the news in the last years that Apple has been concerned about their users' privacy and how their data is being shared and sold for publicity or other matters that might not be beneficial for the user, only for other parties. So this is the first update, and we should expect more releases from Apple and for other companies. And now mainly that they are launching the iOS 15 now. So how is the new flow for the user itself then? Every time the user install an app, they have to authorize the ATT. And if they allow, the app owner will have access to their personal data. And if they not, the app is not authorized to track and share the user's data to publishers or anything. And what is the user data that they are enabling or not for us? It is any data that is used and sold for targeted ads and other matters, such as the address, the phone number, the email. how they spend online, how their location history, how they navigate on the websites, and their metadata, that which is the information that we use in our end, like the customer ID, the click ID, the IDFA, and the IDFV, which is really important for us marketers, right? So basically, how is it affecting our market of mobile user acquisition? It is affecting the app owner itself, since there are a lot of new rules for the apps SDKs that they should follow now. And Apple is already disapproving and blocking some apps that are not fitting with these new requirements. It changes a lot of our market as well, by the first party data being one even more valuable than it was already. And consequently, we will have a growth of the companies who own this data, such as big apps and big ad networks, who are looking to consolidate themselves and look for more opportunities and possibilities for the buyers by buying themselves as well, like other ad networks buying apps and apps buying ad networks. So, and calm. However, the most immediate change that we are already facing is the challenges for the attribution on paid media for mobile. And like I said previously, the most important data that we gather from the user are their metadata, the IDs for the device, the user, etc. As we saw now, this information won't be available for us in case the client doesn't allow the tracking on their information. So how it will be the flow for the attribution from now on without this information? The user will install this app and grant access or not when he opens the app. If it is allowed, we will continue to receive the information available, and we can have an ID matching, which is the most common attribution model in our end, and it can be done by device ID, the click ID, the customer ID. However, if it doesn't allow the tracking, we won't receive any of this information. So how the DMMPs, AppsFlyer, or just how will they track and attribute correctly if they don't have most of the data that we use to? Of course, most of the MMPs, they have the probabilistic modeling that match the clicks and conversions with the information we have available. But is it enough to match and not affect our performance at the long term? So the fact is that we could start losing some conversions to the organic. So we started here at RankMyAPP to make some studies and research to find for solutions so our campaigns and your performance of our partners weren't affected by this. So there are already some ways to avoid that, to avoid this non-tracking. But before I go through the solutions, I wanted to share with you an overall of what we evaluated in our campaign since the end of April. Here we see on the line at the top the representation of our iOS conversions for the last weeks. In clear blue, you see the number of devices with the iOS 14.5 version. And on dark blue, the percentage of users who didn't consent with the ATT. And as we can see, in the last weeks, we still didn't have a relevant amount of users implementing the iOS 14. Even less users non-consenting with the ATT, which is the restricted. So up to now, it is not affecting the measure of our campaigns, and we were able to make these studies thanks to the solutions that I will present to you soon. I will present some of the solutions that we found so far, and it is good to mention that here at this webinar we are focusing on RankMyAPP campaigns. So we will focus mainly on AppsFlyer and our RankMyAPP platform. And of course, there are other solutions such as identification companies or other types of media buying that are not focused on the user, but in the context and behavior. But maybe we can talk about them in another webinar. And before I explain to you the solutions specifically for our RankMyAPP campaigns, I would just like to let you know about the SK network. This is a solution developed by Apple itself to help the advertisers to measure their campaigns, and it was developing in 2018, already focusing on the privacy of the user. The idea is that every party of the business, and I mean the advertiser, the ad networks, and the publisher, they have to be registered at this feature, and they will have a signature key, which will be fired by postback from Apple confirming the conversion. And before that, before they send the conversion to us, they get the user information and split anything that can identify him from global information, which is what the ad network would receive when the conversion is sent. Even being launched 3 years ago, the SK network is being better developed now, focusing on the attribution for iOS 14 campaigns. And it has some limitations. It has a delay of 24 to 48 hours to report the conversion. The data is more fragile and open for manipulation, increasing the risk of fraud. So this is a feature that is still being evaluated by the market, and soon we might have more news about this. And now, not only Apple brought a solution for us, but most of the MMPs and other companies of the market are focusing on finding a way that this new tendency of privacy won't affect digital market in general. So I will bring here the AppsFlyer solution, the aggregated advanced privacy that we call here the AAP. AppsFlyer is the biggest MMP in Brazilian market, at least, and represents at the moment 80% of the campaign. So it is important for us to share with you their solution. And this framework of the advanced privacy, it prevents the tracking of the users across apps and websites, and uses the SCAN network privacy levels as a reference to do so. The good part of this feature is that it won't affect our attribution or the availability of our aggregated data. It just changes the information we receive from each conversion. The AAP disables some of the fields of the raw data reports, and will affect data from some of the AppsFlyer's tools. But here, the most important affected feature is the receipt of the postbacks from the ad networks, and I will get there soon. The AAP is turned on by default since it was released, and is a general setting for a certain app, but the client can also switch it off and enable it for each partner individually, the advanced privacy, which is on partner level. If this option is on, you are able to receive non-consenting users' information, but to receive this conversion, you should add a new advanced privacy postback, which will contain campaign details such as the campaign ID, publisher ID, and no unique identifiers. And I will explain it better on the next slide now. So just to illustrate what is going on at the moment, I got this image from AppsFlyer's documentation showing how the flow is working now. If an iOS 14 installs an app with your link, they consent or not to the ATT, and if they allow, we receive the regular post back with their regular information. But if they don't allow, you should receive the advanced privacy postback that has to be set on the AppsFlyer account. Basically, if you don't have this postback, as you can see here, and you are not set with the AAP, the advanced privacy of AppsFlyer, you probably are already missing some conversions for iOS campaigns without even noticing. So we are already seeing some cases of campaigns running directly from AppsFlyer, and we don't have any postback data from some of our partners who are not being aware of their real performance on the campaigns, right? So I brought here how to make the settings for the AppsFlyer, for the aggregated advanced privacy. To make all these settings on AppsFlyer and be aligned with this new format, you can start checking on AppsFlyer's documentation on this website. They have a complete detailed information on how it is working and what information we receive and what we have to do to be aligned with. And also contact your AppsFlyer support, and they will assist you with the postback and updating everything is necessary for more accurate attribution, right? So, and after you have all set with the AAP, you get a badge on your ad network account to certificate your alignment, and this will surely bring more value to your business for the AppsFlyer clients. And as you can see on the example here now, our RankMyAPP ad network account is already with the certificate, and we were one of the first networks in Brazil to have this badge, and we are receiving the data correctly, as I explained before, in our measurement platform. Uh, we can see in our end that some of you are already with the AAP enabled on the AppsFlyer, which is great. But I brought more detailed information for those who didn't have any contact yet with this and might still have some more doubts about how things are working after the iOS 14. And for everybody to be aware of the importance of this configuration, mainly for those who are running directly campaigns from us. And well, for those who are running campaigns on our measurement platform, our RankMyAPP platform, let's move forward to the changes on it. As I mentioned, we are already receiving all information correctly on our platform with the correct attribution, and you are being all attributed as well, correctly attributed on our platform, thanks to our tech team efforts in setting everything up before the implementation of the iOS 14. However, the MMPs still don't send us detailed information of the conversion. So we are now receiving back some important information, such as the click ID and the subsite ID, for example. Ai, calma aí. Eu vou voltar pouquinho aqui, gente. However, the MMP still don't send us detailed information of the conversion. So we are now receiving back some important information, such as your click ID and subsite ID, for example. With the privacy post back on AppsFlyer and the settings on the platform, we are able to receive some of the information on parameters that are now restricted on the advanced privacy, which assists the platform to match the click with the conversion. But anyway, if you don't, we don't receive your click ID back from the conversion, and if this is the only way that you are able to track them on your end, you should see some discrepancy between your platform and ours since the end of April for the iOS campaigns mainly. But gladly, our platform has released a new feature to assist you with the tracking for all this type of conversions. If you have started a new offer in the last months, in the last weeks, you should have seen that the postback setting has a new value to be added, which is the privacy postback. It is an additional postback where we can share additional macros that are not blocked by the privacy, and you can add it when you set a default postback. So you will receive both consenting and no consenting conversions. The macros we have available has to be sent by you as well. So please contact your affiliate manager if you have the interest in setting this up, and we'll all assist you with that. So these were the main topics that we wanted to discuss with you today, and I hope that everything was clear to you now. And I'm sure that most of you have already been following up with this topic on a daily basis like us and are tired of talking about it. But at RankMyAPP, we believe that sharing the knowledge and opening the discussion is essential for the growth of our partnership. So finally, just to recap a little bit, the iOS 14.5 is available by 2 months and has brought a lot of questions and concerns for the market. But we have been looking into it since the last year, looked for the solutions, and we are still following up with the subject. The user privacy topic that is growing on the market So we have to be concerned, even more concerned about this in the future. So soon Google will follow Apple on the restriction rules as well, and we have to stay tuned about the changes that are coming to our market. Um, Such as the solutions that are already available for us, like the aggregated advanced privacy from AppsFlyer, which is really important for us who are running direct campaigns from us. And our own platform also has a solution to help with the correct tracking also. So if you notice any discrepancies or have any questions about how to set the privacy post back, or how was the process to enable the advanced privacy on the apps flyer, please contact your affiliate manager. And like I said, we are glad to open the discussion with you, and hope to have a lot of feedbacks and other meetings so we can discuss. But you can always talk to your affiliate managers for any concerns. So this is what we wanted to share with you today. So thank you for your time. I will get back to Bruna now.
Yeah, thank you, Carol, for your time. We really appreciate this information. Really, really good. Thank you very much. So the next steps after this webinar, you are going to receive a questionnaire so you can understand how productive this material was for you. And we also send you a certificate by RankMyAPP. So that's great that you participated. In addition, we are very open to receive feedbacks, questions, okay? And also we are very curious to understand how this change is affecting you. So share with us after. We are here to grow together, and we are also open to listen to you and help you to increase. Thank you.